Welcome to Season 3 of Sunday Conversations. Thank you for your continued support. Get ready as we embark on this year's journey of great content. Sit back, enjoy, and delight yourself with these conversations. What's up? It's your boy Isaac Davis. I'm here for another episode of Sunday Conversations. Today we have a fire topic where we will be discussing, does your childhood affect your love style? And today I got two awesome guests here with me. One that you already know, and the second, he hit me up and said, Ike, let's do the thing. I would love to come to Sunday Conversations. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my guest for the day, Alex Williams, and my boy Abram Stapleton. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, brother? How you?
Hey, doing great. Doing great. So, what do you guys think about the topic for today?
I think it's dope. I think it's a needed conversation, especially what we are today and being able to understand who we are as men and how we need to grow. So I'm excited to get into it.
Okay, Abram.
I echo what Alex said. I think that it's definitely a needed conversation, and it's something that'll just help us understand ourselves a little better and help other people understand us too.
So Abram has a lot of insights. I know the brother is highly intelligent. He be sitting on the sideline just looking, but when you start talking to him, the brother got some knowledge to him. Okay, so Abram, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
My name's Abram Stapleton. Originally from Jacksonville, Florida.
Don't be stuttering now. I'm the one that stutter, so don't be starting that. Come on.
Yeah, I don't normally talk about myself, so I mean, what you want to know? I mean, I'm
okay. So you're from Jacksonville, Florida. Married, children?
Yes. Yeah, how can I? Yeah. Married for about to come up on 13 years. We have three children together, 13, 6, and 2, Abram, Aubrey, and Addison. And that's my world, my wife, my kids, big family guy, faith and family. So, that about sums it up for me.
Okay. But what y'all don't know, the brother can slam on some ribs. Listen here, a master griller, okay? He can grill. Do you hear what I'm saying? The brother can burn. I've had some of his ribs. I'm waiting for some more, okay? But let's jump into this. So, I do believe that our childhood upbringing affects our overall love style, our adult life, and how, and I'm going to say that initially once we start out, and until we start gaining knowledge of who we are and who we really want to be and how we want to give love and how we want to receive love, until we gain that knowledge, I do believe that our childhood upbringing affect our love style. And I'm going to start with this. We all have experienced something within our childhood that we said, when I become a parent, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do that differently. So that is proof that our childhood affects our love style because we want to initiate something different, right? So, Abram, let's start. Now, we're going to start with Alex first, but we're going to let you get warmed up first. Alex, so how has something within your child, you don't have to state what it is if you don't want to, but how was something that was in your childhood that came forward that you was like, oh, shucks, that's something I don't want to do? And then if that one thing that you didn't want to do, if it did come forward and you recognize it, how did you change it?
So the one thing for me was my parents separated. My parents divorced. At the time, I didn't know it had an effect on me. But it wasn't until Elise and I got together that I started to see, I would say, deposits of things that I saw in my childhood that was starting to ramp up. And so I wanted to be with Elise, but I didn't know how to because I didn't have an example of what that looked like.
Okay.
And so that example for me was whenever there was adversity or a conflict, I saw it as an opportunity to run away versus to work through it. And so that was the
That's
sign of, okay, something's not right.
That's good.
Because this is who I want to be with, and I don't want to go away, but I don't know how to go through the process of figuring out how to deal with it. And that's what sparked, oh, I got childhood issues.
Okay.
I got some issues that I need to deal with. I didn't know until that came about.
Okay, Abram.
I think mainly with me, I've never met my biological father.
Okay.
I could go out here and go to the store right now, walk right past him, and I wouldn't know who he was.
Oh wow.
And with that being said, I said that I wanted to be different when I grew up. You know, when I have kids, I wanted to make it a point to that they would never have to feel, you know, what it's like. And you know, I just want to preface this by saying, you know, my mother, she met a guy when I was 4 years old. And he's been in my life. Him and my mother are married, and I mean, he's been an excellent father to me. That is my father. But as far as biologically, I never met my biological father, and I didn't think it affected me. But you know, like you said, Alex, once you grow up, certain deposits, certain things that happen that you see where it affects you. So I said that, you know, I was going to be the best father that I could be to my children. And that's kind of, you know, what I strive to be today. You know, no matter what happens, you know, that's my goal, to be the best father that I can and to love my children unconditionally. You know, unconditionally.
Okay. So are you saying that with yours, not having a father in your life, not having your biological father in your life, it made you want to show up differently for your children?
Definitely.
Okay, so not experiencing the biological love, how did it make you want to love your current children?
It just made me want to just be there. It made me want to be present. Just be present for the small things. You know, having a single mother, you know, it's about working. You know, providing. You know, she's working, she's providing. She's doing the best that she can to raise my sister and I. And so what happens is you miss out on certain things. You miss out on spelling bees. You miss out on you know, just different occasions. You just miss out on that. And what it made me want to do is it made me want to be present for all of those things for my children, because I never wanted my children to feel how I felt. I can remember, you know, going through certain things in life, and you know, just not having me being like the only child that didn't have anybody there. And that kind of stuff you don't know at the time, but it sticks with you.
Yes, true that. Okay. Hey, Alex, did yours create a codependency per se, because the fact that you didn't want to experience the separation, you didn't want to experience the divorce, so did it create
No, I know, I got what you said, but
this is so funny, you know, this happened the last time.
I'll pick it right up. I got you.
Yeah. So did it cause you to have a codependency with yours?
Oh, absolutely. And it started before I got married.
Really?
So
okay.
My codependency was always wanting to be in a relationship. So my parents separated. I stayed with my mom for a little bit, and then once I got to like 8th grade, that's when I stayed with my dad. And so I never had that dual action thing going on in the household. It was always one or the other. And so when I ended up living with my dad, there was a different energy. Like when you with dad, or you would, you know, it's it's different. And so for me to be coming into my, you know, 8th grade, I'm about 13, almost turning 14, I got a little bit more freedom.
Right.
I can move around like I want to. My dad ain't tripping, you know, because he got to work, he got stuff he got going on. And so I was left to my own devices.
Right,
And
okay.
so there was girls. That's all I cared about was girls
Mm-hmm.
and sports. And because I had an easy access to it and there was nobody else around, my dependency was on not being alone.
Right.
So I needed somebody to be with. I need to be in a relationship. I need to be messing around doing something.
Right.
And that lingered from high school to college. College, it was wild. And so when I met Elise, my expectation of what I wanted or what I wanted to do was at a halt when I met her. She was like, nah, player, you ain't getting over here like that. All that stuff would have worked with them girls, but you got to come correct with me. And so that's what, I was like, okay, she different because she not giving me what I want, but I don't want to leave. But I don't know why I don't want to leave, but something's different. But it was still a codependency nonetheless. That when we had this conversation probably 5 years into our marriage. She was like, based off of what you told me, are you with me because you want to be with me, or are you with me because of the codependency of just not wanting to be alone? And I had to really
dig deep
and figure out what that meant because of me never wanting to be separated.
Because you once said on one of the previous Sunday conversations about how that Elise came from the healthy side of having both parents in the house, communicating differently than you've ever communicated. So I can't remember the exact things that you said then, but since then to now, what has been the improvement since then to now?
Oh, it's definitely been communication, but it's also me understanding that I had issues that I needed to deal with, because I wouldn't be able to love her fully or my kids nonetheless if I didn't deal with the issues that I had growing up. And so I had to work through those things, and I had to circle back on a lot of stuff to be like, you know what, I messed up on that.
Right.
My bad, dog.
Right.
My oldest, I would say probably got it the worst because I was still trying to figure this out. And so now, our relationship's in a better place because now I'm in a better place.
Awesome.
And I think the transparency of being able to go through that allowed me to be able to teach them in a better position and also to love Elise in a better position
Okay.
than I did before.
Abram, are both of your parents still married?
Yes.
Okay, well, not your biological, but your. I don't like saying stepdad.
No,
but,
that's my father. So,
but that's your father. Okay,
that's definitely my
okay.
father. That's my
Okay.
father. That's my guy.
So, now with your wife, is her parents still married?
No, she lost her father at a very young age.
Okay.
And I'll just leave it at that. She lost her father at a very young age.
Now, because of the biological, both of you have a biological association where you don't know who your biological father is, and hers that she lost hers at a very young age. What was the correlation when it came to the two of you, of how that you dealt with your love style when it came towards each other?
Well, coming from that aspect, so I mentioned the biological aspect because that drives me to how I love my children. As far as loving my wife, I tell everybody she had to teach me how to properly love her.
You know what? That is powerful, because I think that sometimes a lot of women, or some women, miss the aspect of teaching us how to properly love them, as well as we don't teach our women how to properly love us.
Right.
So yeah, that's a very good point. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
She had to teach me how to properly love her because I came from a house to where, like I said, my mother, my father, he was there, but he was in the military, so he was in and out. Here for a few months, getting stationed over here, or we go stay here. And so, for all intents and purposes, she was a single mother raising two kids. And so her thing was discipline. You're not gonna be in those streets. You're not gonna be this. You're not gonna be that. She disciplined and she ruled with an iron fist.
Okay.
And so, growing up, I grew up in a house to where love was not shown. It was just understood. I know you love me. You don't have to tell me. We don't tell each other that we love each other. We don't hug each other. We're not affectionate. We just know that we love each other. Push come to shove, we know we love each other. And so when I grew up and I meet my wife, she wants that affection. She wants that reassurance, and I don't know how to give it to her because I'm just not used to that. You should know that I love you. You should know this. Girl, I'm out here paying these bills. I'm doing this. I'm doing A, B, C, and D.
I'm showing you how I love you. I'm out here doing this for the family.
And I'm showing you through my way how that I love you. But to her, you're not. I need that. I need the reassurance in my way. I need you to show me that you love me in the way I need to see it. And so that's why that's why I can get the term. She had to really teach me because I didn't know how to, from what I know, I'm doing well.
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Our pastor often says that, that we have to check in to see how good that we're doing. And to hear him say that, is actually factual because what you like today may not be something that you like tomorrow. So it's wise to do a monthly or quarterly check-in. Hey, how are things going? Right. Because if not, we could be loving someone in the way that we are accustomed to loving them, and they've moved somewhere completely different. So mine has been a little different when it comes to mine. So one of mine is that, to my memory, to my own recollection, I never heard my dad say that I love you, right? So my compensation for that was to make sure that I always told my children that I love you. Always did that. So even today, I don't care. Even if I text them, if I don't have nothing to say, the words I can say is that I love you, because it's something that I yearned to hear from my dad. And I'm saying that's just to my memory right now. As long as I can go back, I can't ever recall hearing my dad say that to me. If I'm wrong, Dad, you can call me and you can tell me later. Okay. So, but then I never got to see my dad show affection to my mom. So I never knew what that looked like at all because it was foreign to me. Now, I did see my parents go through in the early stages of their marriage where, back in the 70s when they would I fight it out, so I did see my parents go through that. And that was something I said I never do. I would never put my hand on the wife that I have. I would never do that. I've never done it because that's something that I saw as a child that I did not like. And my parents are still together. They've been married. They just celebrated 48 years of being married. And it's exciting to me, and it blesses me to see them go through all of the things that they went through young in their marriage and still said that whatever it takes for us to get beyond this, we need to get beyond this. And because I'm with you, I'm going to be with you. And whatever it takes, we got to work this thing out. And now 48 years later, they are still together, and it's awesome. And I love it. What I get to see today of my dad in the affection he shows towards my mom and the emotional side of my dad that I never saw as a child, it blows my mind. When I say it blows my mind, I'm like, dang, Dad, I wish I'd have saw this as a kid, And not saying that he had it in him, because for the past 33 years, I've been outside of their house. So what has transpired in 33 years has been growth in between them. So, and that's something that I didn't physically get to see, but I get to go home now, and when I'm home for sometimes just a day, or sometimes 2-3 days, or even a week, I get to see my dad express openly his affection and his love for my mom that I didn't get to see as a child. And I think that for me is that I overcompensated when it came to that side, and I made sure that I showed the affection, where it was a pat on the butt, where it was going by, girl, you are looking good, yay, what's up now, doing it's stuff like that I overcompensated with overcompensated with. But watch this. Never had in my mind to ask, how do I love you? What's the proper way of loving you? And to go back in memory, I don't even think that even my two ex-wives even knew how to even express that to me themselves, because they came from childhood differences as well. So, but for me, it was always trying to be something that I did not see my dad do. And so I didn't really realize that until after my second divorce, is when I really start digging into mental health and getting the awareness of why do I act this way, or why do I think this way? What has caused this? And then being raised, even though I got two brothers, I have an older brother that's my stepbrother. I don't call him my stepbrother, but we just say brother. And then I have my youngest brother. My youngest brother is 12 years younger than both of us are. And so, but I was raised as a single child, because when my oldest brother came to live with us, we were starting high school. And when my youngest brother came around, I'm 12 years older than he is. So I'm in high school when he really coming. I was in the 5th or the 6th grade when he was born. So about time, he gets of age, we rolling.
Right.
So I was basically raised as a single child. So a lot of things I did internally with myself. I didn't have nobody to talk to. And through counseling, I've learned these things about me. I've learned how that I internalize a lot of stuff, and I deal with stuff internally because I've always dealt with it, because I was raised for so many years as a single child. And then I had to learn how to share. And at some point I didn't like sharing, but I had to learn how to share once my two brothers came, because they basically came at almost the same time. So it's stuff like that I had to learn. Did you have any type of Abram, did you have any form of deficit that you felt that you were overcompensating for too?
When you say deficit,
like in your love style?
Nah, the way I saw it, I was perfect. The way I saw it, I was perfect. I was doing what I knew, and that was the problem.
Yes.
That was the problem. I was doing what I knew, and I wasn't trying to do anything else.
Right.
I tell everybody, a lot of people look at me and my wife now. And I had a friend that came over to the house not too long ago. He came over, and we were talking. And he just split up from his wife. Well, he's been split from his wife for a while, but he started something new. And he was like, "Man, you guys are goals." It took some work to get here. It took a lot of work. It took some. We're 30. I just turned 38. She'll be 37 next month, and we've been together since our early 20s. So, while we're still relatively young, we've been together for a while. And it's taken a lot of work to get to the point to where we're at. And I'm not, nobody, we still have to keep working. But I say that to say that we put in the work. He said, "Man, you guys are goals." And I said, "Man, it's been some long, hard conversations, some rough situations. I've messed up. I've been the culprit of a lot of the things that we went through. But I'm blessed that God, sent, the one for me. The one for me, because I know it. Not I couldn't just be with just anybody. Anybody couldn't handle me. Because like I said, I came from a tough mother, she, you know, I love my mother. I love my mother to life, but you know, growing up, she's tough. And she's like, oh man, she's a sweetheart now. I look at her now and I'm like, man, who are you? And what have you done with my mother? I look at her with her grandchildren, and she's, you know how it is.
Yeah, we always
Yeah,
different.
you know how it is. I'm looking at the grandchildren, and she letting them get away with all this. I'm like, who are you? You know, but it's just it's night and day, and that's what I carried over into my adulthood. Like, hey, it's gonna be my way. This is how we do things. Yeah, and to a certain extent, I still am like that. I have to catch myself, but it just goes to show that the childhood is man, that stuff is deep rooted, and it's embedded.
Okay. Did either you seek any type of counseling?
I haven't.
You haven't. Okay. Abram.
I haven't either.
Okay. And I'm saying, the actual. I'm speaking of counseling in the positive way, because counseling is never negative, but I'm speaking of how that if you went to counseling with either by yourself or with your spouse and say, hey, let's go and get more knowledge on how to have better communication, how to have better understanding, how to have better love with one another, because we also going to bring the spiritual aspect in here too, because we do know the Bible tells us how to love our spouse, but we know that we can read it, and also we can go and get professional assistance in it, and that we couple them together and we get a grand prize.
Well, that's one thing that I did want to touch on. I had positive examples, in my adulthood. When we moved to Valdosta, we joined the church, and my pastor there, he was such a positive example on just how to love your wife, how to treat your wife, how to treat your children. And so just being in there, seeing that positive example, that was all the counseling that I felt like I needed. I feel like
it's funny because we all think that way sometimes.
But I got
that example right there. I'm watching. I don't need that. Right.
Yeah. But I got to look at him up close and personal. I got to walk with him. I got to see him and his vulnerabilities. I got to see him for who he truly was. Everybody doesn't get to see their pastor in that fashion. But I got to look at him, and I got to see him, behind closed doors, and how he interacted with his children, how he interacted with his grandchildren, how he interacted in tough situations, things of that nature. And it was really a blessing, and it really helped me to look at myself and kind of pattern certain things, not everything, certain things,
Gotcha.
And how to interact. Just how to face different situations.
Okay, Alex.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I think you brought that up. Obviously, my uncle and my aunt. Being able to see that, especially being here for almost 6 years, that was really a good example for me. Because then I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, that's how you deal with that. Oh, we had the same situation, and then starting to realize that it's not as bad as I'm making it seem. We're not as bad off as, we just got to work through it. We got to communicate. So being able to see that, and then dealing with the issues that I saw with my parents. When I got older and I had kids for myself, then it started to make sense. Okay, now I understand why my dad was like that. Now I understand why my mom was moving like that. For me, in my head, I'm thinking, life's not fair.
You want me to do that?
Nobody don't want to do nothing for me.
Yeah.
And then I sit back and I'm like, dang, man, I really was. My understanding was so off. And so now that I have that understanding, the relationship with my parents are at a better place. Even watching them in their own relationship, it's kind of like, okay, I get it. And so just being able to work through those things through the examples that I've had, I think that has been the counseling that I've needed so far.
Okay.
So far. I mean, we'll see. There's always room to improve, but
and you got a wife that's really philosophical at times.
Yeah, she got that counseling degree.
She got
trying to throw them words at me.
She be throwing. She be throwing the words at
you. She be
you.
using some of the stuff on
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
They put the textbook down. Don't talk to me like that.
I don't know what you're saying.
Hey, don't be trying to psychoanalyze me.
I'm gonna take it as a sign of disrespect, so I'm gonna back up. and go read the book before I say something else. But yeah, but no, and that actually, the crazy thing is that did help because she had that.
Thank you for watching Sunday Conversations. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. We look forward to seeing you next week as we continue to bring you relevant content. Remember, God has a purpose and a plan for your life. Live life intentionally.